hanging with Watto. And my good buddy Jar Jar. Yoda. You seek Yoda. He's even grumpier in person. Okay, now we're pushing it. See, hide and seek Yoda. Put Anakin in the corner. Oh yeah, except for the broken arm. That's weird. Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly News. As always, I'm Robo, and all the intros can't be winners. It's been a crazy week leading up to Christmas, so I haven't had a lot of time to sit down and actually think of something. But I was in a warehouse last night, saw all these life-size Star Wars characters. I thought, well, it's better than nothing. But on today's episode, we're going to talk about the S.H. Figuarts Deadshot, Neca's life-size Groot, and Soap Studios cloth-covered 1/12 scale DC figures. Don't have a lot of information on those, but we can look at them. And then I'm going to finish it up with my quickie review of Rogue One. But first, let's talk about the Figuarts Deadshot. First, we saw a picture from the Akaba showroom sometime last week. And for some reason, Deadshot had a big-ass seam in his head. It looked really ugly, and it made me think that maybe it was removable face, switchable faces. But it's not. Roll on a couple more days, and they actually solicit the figure. Now, before I even get into it, it's a Bandai Webshop exclusive. I understand why. Deadshot may not be as popular a character as Harley and Joker overseas. So they put them up as an exclusive, they sell a certain amount, they make a certain amount, they don't have any extras left over. Yes, there's websites like Nippon-Yasan or Anime Export or My Combini, I believe that's called. There's places like that, you pay up front, they buy the figure for you, they ship it to you when it's ready. But lately, the exclusives have been pretty expensive, and they don't come with a lot of stuff. Like Deadshot here, he has the standard Will Smith head. It looks pretty good. The ears could be a little bit... The expression's a little bit neutral. It could have been a little bit more expressive, I guess. But flip around, and he does come with the Deadshot mask. That looks really good, it's detailed. One thing I do notice, he doesn't have the writing around the neck, just like their Harley doesn't have the belly tattoo. So it's an odd thing to miss when you're going into this much detail for an action figure. Then for accessories, he comes with a couple of hands and the rifle. That's it. It's gonna run about $55–$60. Now Deadshot is already up on the sites like Nippon-Yasan. He's not gonna be on Ami, it's not gonna be on HLJ. The actual sell date for this is December 27th with a May ship date. Now keeping it with DC, Soap Studios is an overseas-based studio that seems to be doing cloth-covered 1/12 scale figures, kind of in line with Mezco's offerings in the 1/12 collective line. These look okay, I guess you could say, a little bit bulky, and the costumes for Barry and Ollie are kind of reimagined. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I'm gonna have to see more before I make a final decision on these. But they are also doing Dark Knight Rises figures. Now this Bane and Batman look pretty good, not bad. It may be that I'm actually looking for a good Bane, so maybe that's clouding my judgment a little bit, but Bane does look pretty good. And then of course Batman, there's several options for that out there. If this is your thing, then yeah, it may be worth tracking down. Not a lot of info yet, I just snagged these pictures off Facebook with no information to go along with them. But if there's an update later on, that's why I do a weekly show. And then we're gonna do some rapid fire, how that be? Neca is offering a replica alien skull. It looks freaking amazing. I'll get more into this here in a minute because we're going to talk about something else in this line. It looks great, but whoo, is it expensive, $260. Bringing it back around to cloth-covered figures, Mezco did solicit their DC Deathstroke this week for their 1/12 collective line. Looks great, alternate head, weapons. I like this look for Slade. Now last week I noticed Amazon had this picture up for their listing of the Spider-Man Legends Green Goblin. Notice anything wrong here? Go home, Norman, you're drunk. The picture has since been fixed. Rocking around Twitter this morning, I found in-hand pictures of the amazing Yamaguchi Venom. I don't know how this works. Are they shunting mass into an alternate dimension to be able to move a figure this big and bulky like this? No, I know how it works. I know the pictures are taken with the gappy parts showing away from. I understand it. There are actually a lot of pictures here, and I'm gonna post that on the front page. If it's not up at the time of this video, it'll go up tomorrow whenever I post this video to the front page of the Fwoosh. Bunch of callbacks. I keep skipping back and forth to almost the same kind of action figures. Neca has announced that they are releasing a life-size version of Baby Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, I have seen a lot of these foam life-size figures at conventions. The Deadpool calls to me, sings that siren song to spend my money and put him in my entryway. If I had an entryway. Front porch, maybe? Eh. But those usually cost over $1,000. There's the Deadpool, I'd like to have the Harley, there's a Batman, I believe there's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Leonardo, and then a Rocket Raccoon, and then of course the Alien Skull I just talked about a minute ago. But this is more my speed. It's a 10-inch Baby Groot. It uses the actual digital files from the movie, made of foam, rubber, and latex, and it costs $30. Yeah, cheap. Adds a little pizzazz to the display, or I can put this anywhere in the house. I'll be able to put this on my coffee table, or like I said, the foyer. The butler can move it around for the maid before she dusts. This is releasing in April, and I'll probably end up with this. It looks pretty cool. Okay, moving on to movie review. A lot of people have been asking me to review Rogue One, and I feel like I'm not really a movie reviewer. With toys, I'm opening the package, you're getting my first impressions, it's right there in front of me, I can move it, I can double check stuff. I can do those reviews. With movies, I go and see the movie, I walk out of the movie, I have feelings, but I can't remember a lot of stuff. It's only after several viewings that I feel like I can actually discuss the movie. So doing a movie review, it's not really my speed, but since a lot of you have been asking, and it is a Star Wars movie, I thought I'd give it a shot. I loved it. It was great. See ya. No. I'm just kidding. I did enjoy the movie, but it took me a minute to enjoy it. At first, I was caught off guard, I guess. I went in expecting a Star Wars movie, and it didn't really start as a Star Wars movie, but it built into a Star Wars movie. First you sit down, you're watching it, you're interested, but you're thinking, I thought I bought tickets to a Star Wars movie. And then it goes on, and you start thinking, hey, wait, that was a little bit of Star Wars, and there's a little bit more. And then about 3/4 into the movie, it's just, I am a Star Wars movie. And you're just like, I know, hit me, yes! Now, I have seen a lot of people talking about character development, and there wasn't a lot of it in the movie, but this movie wasn't about characters. It was about the Death Star plans, the Death Star. That's about it. Yes, there's characters thrown in, and yes, people feel like they should care for the characters before we go any further, spoilers. People feel like they should care for the characters before they, die. The characters are just there to do their thing and then perish. That's it. I didn't expect all of them to go, but that's just this movie. A lot of people want to compare it to Saving Private Ryan, and yeah, there was a lot of building there. There was a lot of character development. I look at this movie as more like The Dirty Dozen or The Magnificent Seven. It's just there to do what it needs to do, with some characters doing it. We can piece together what the characters are like, but they don't actually show it. It's not force-fed to us. And I'm okay with that. I'm good with the characters, except for one. And that's one of the problems I have. I have two problems with the movie. One of them is just what I would change about a character. The other problem is just me thinking too much about it. And the character I have a problem with is Bodhi. He was just kind of there, but they had the opportunity to make him more than that, and that's when the brain sucker thing got a hold of him. He was in the cell afterwards, he was acting kind of wacky, kind of silly, and they just asked, are you the pilot? And he just snaps right back into the character he was before that. There was so much possibility here. They could have kept him crazy for the rest of the movie. In fact, they could have kept him to where he was kind of giving them hints at what they needed to do, but it was so crazy talk that they didn't understand it until the climax of the film. And then they go, oh shit, Bodhi's been talking about this the whole time. Let's see what he has to say. And then they kind of have to translate his crazy ravings. But if they didn't want to go the full crazy route, they could have went as far as, say, Donald Sutherland's oddball from Kelly's Heroes. Yeah, I've watched a lot of old movies. But yeah, just give him like an over-the-top personality or something to make him stand out. Now, before I get to my other problem, let's talk about the CGI characters a little bit. I was completely blown away by Tarkin, but Tarkin had the advantage of being in the dark or in reflections or kind of back. There was a couple times where you could look and say, oh, that's a little bit off. But at the same time, we knew that Peter Cushing was dead. Our brain is telling us this is computer generated, so we're automatically looking for flaws. But for the most part, Tarkin did look good. And then there's Leia. Leia had the disadvantage of being in a white room, in a white dress with spotlights on her, lights all over the place, just lit up, and your eyes went directly to her face. So you're already looking for every little itty bitty facial tick and movement and everything. So you could kind of tell there it looked great. Don't get me wrong, it did look great. But again, your brain's telling you Carrie Fisher is not this young. This is not an actress. It's computer. Let's look for every little bitty thing, the movement of the lip, whatever. So yeah, she got the short end of the stick. But now that we're at the end of the movie, here's my other problem, and that is where Vader is when the Tantive 4 takes off. The ship drops, it takes off, and he's standing right there. And we've been told this movie is 10 minutes before the start of A New Hope. So I guess they jump in the Star Destroyer and they catch the Tantive 4 again, and then they're boarding it. It would be kind of like a drunk girl running from a cop at one stoplight, driving a block, and stopping at the next stoplight. Now, ma'am, I know that I just pulled you over at the last stoplight for driving erratically. No, Ossifer, that wasn't me. Now, come on, you can tell me it was somebody else in a Corvette that looks exactly like the one I'm driving now. Ma'am, have you been drinking? Nope, not at all. I guess that explains why Darth Vader is pissed off in A New Hope. He's on the ship, everybody's blatantly lying to his face because he just saw them 10 minutes ago fly away with the Death Star plans. Nope. Diplomatic mission from Alderaan. He's right there. And something else that threw me off only because of years and years of seeing it in my head, the Death Star being upside down. Which now makes sense because the dish array has to point at the planet, so it would be down. And staying on the Death Star for a minute, if they have hyperdrive capabilities, why didn't they fly directly over Yavin 4? They could have just gone, unless Tarkin is really dramatic when it comes to the overall rebellion. But that's just me thinking too much about it. If you're watching the movies, you go straight through. Yeah, it's not that big a deal, especially after that Darth Vader scene that we saw right before that. Holy shit. So overall, I like the movie. When I go to the movies, I want to pay my ticket, I want to go in, forget about my life for 2 hours, be entertained, and walk out happy. And even though, like I said, this movie started off a little bit slow, a little bit unlike a Star Wars movie, my grin grew progressively bigger as the movie went on. And when Darth Vader, when that lightsaber lit up, my jaw dropped. I've never actually experienced that I can remember, but in my brain, it was like, whoa, you just lost control of your jaw. What's going on here? I remember that specifically happening. To say I enjoyed it, yeah, that's kind of an understatement. I loved it, and I'll probably go see it again. So that wasn't as quick as I was hoping it was, but if you want to know more about the toys I talked about at the first of this episode, I will have this posted on the Fwoosh front page tomorrow at noon, and with the pictures, with the information, or the links to the articles with the pictures and the information. So if you like this weekly news update and the movie review, let me know if you want me to do more movie reviews. I know I kind of just jump around like a crazy person, but if you want to see it, I'll go ahead and do it. Comment, like, subscribe. You may fire when ready. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.